Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the HerFund webinar. Welcome to the new participants. We'll be starting in a few seconds, just waiting for a bit more people to connect. And then we'll start. Thank you. I think we can start now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the HerFund webinar. My name is focusing today on Women TechEU. My name is Ines Martorell. I'm from Euronovia, and we're in charge of the communication and dissemination activities in the HerFund project. And I'll be your host for this webinar today. As many of you may know, Women TechEU is a groundbreaking European Union program supporting women in tech and female-led startups in deep tech, providing both funding and mentorship. And at HerFund, our goal is to bring together this community of innovators and advocates for gender equality in order to bridge the gap, the gender gap in tech and in innovation. Before we begin, I'd like to inform you that this webinar is being recorded. So if you have to step away at a moment, you'll be able to catch up with the recording, and the recording will be posted on the website and on social media as well. So for today's agenda, we'll start by presenting an overview of the HerFund project, followed by the presentation of the Women TechEU initiative and the second open call that opened recently. And then we'll finish the webinar with a presentation by a Women TechEU mentor. I'll be presenting the speakers in the next slide. And of course, there is a time dedicated to questions, so don't hesitate to ask your questions in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer them. So in terms of speakers today, we're happy to present Anne-Charlotte Joubert from HerFund, Amparo San Jose from EIT Food, representing Women TechEU, and Cici Simonova from Foodie and Women TechEU mentor. So Anne-Charlotte, she's an expert in securing EU funding with over a decade of experience. Anne-Charlotte's passion lies in building bridges between research and innovation ecosystems. She firmly believes in the transformative power of collaboration, empowering organization to address societal challenges and drive positive change. Anne-Charlotte leads the HerFund project. She's the project coordinator, and the project's aim is to create a robust network of investors and ecosystems to support women entrepreneurs across Europe. Next, we have Amparo San Jose from EIT Food. She's currently responsible for EIT's foods portfolio of programs in the business creation space for South Europe, linking entrepreneurial innovation with users such as farmers or companies, but also investors. She's for developing links with key players in innovation and entrepreneurship in the regional ecosystem and defining collaboration opportunities between stakeholders. And finally, we're pleased to welcome Cici Simonova. She holds a master's degree in engineering, and she's a social entrepreneur. She is a co-founder and CEO of Foodie, the digital platform aimed at reducing food waste in the food industry in Eastern Europe, and she's a Women TechEU mentor. So now, without further ado, I'd like to hand the virtual floor to Anne-Charlotte Joubert, who will be presenting the HerFund project.
Thank you very much, Ines, and good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to have you all to kick this new week, and we hope you will get all the insights that you are looking for with this upcoming and closing soon second call of the Women TechEU. But before that, we would like to give you some kind of overview of the HerFund project, which has received European funding from the European Innovation Ecosystem Work Program, and that is enabling us to be here today. So why HerFund? Figures are clear. Men-only startup, teams captured on 91% of European technology investment capital, and 1.3% only goes to women and minority-led funds. So this clearly creates some kind of discrepancy within the European system. We know, on the other hand, that female entrepreneurs, on average, they generate 150% more revenue on each euro invested compared to men. Venture firms with women partners are 2 times more likely to invest in women-led businesses. And closing the gender gap in business could increase global GDP by 26%. Choose, this is how we came up with the Her Fund project. If you can change, yeah. So the overview of the project. So this is a 2-year project. We kicked the project in March this year in Bulgaria, where the coordination is led by the Age, a pre-accelerator based in Sofia. So on the map here, you can see all the partners of the project. So 9 partners representing 7 countries. As you can see on the colors, we are quite broad, and to get all together, we aim to cover a broad scope on the European territories. We have €1 million budget and quite big ambition and ambitious goals. So if you can go to the next slides. So as already said before by Ines, we aim to foster knowledge sharing and synergies between gender-conscious innovation stakeholders in order to support the next generation of women-led startups and companies. Why do we say gender conscious? Simply because we don't want to create silos, and it is important that we embrace the entire society to tackle these big challenges and better support women entrepreneurs. So the project sits on 4 main objectives. So the first one is to connect women-led companies with investors, especially focusing on what we call the less connected innovation territories, which are basically and very roughly Central Eastern Europe and Southern Europe, where you see compared to the European Innovation Scoreboard that there's a big discrepancy in terms of innovation there. We aim to provide in-depth analysis of the financing landscape in those territories, facilitate the connections between women-led companies and potential investors. We are currently working on guidelines and preparing a digital platform to facilitate this connection. And finally, we aim to create a pan-European community of gender-conscious stakeholders to support women-led companies in LCs, but also throughout the different ecosystem in Europe, connecting everyone there. Our journey, so we work on phases. So we started the project with a landscape analysis and mapping. That was done before the summer. That is helping us co-designing and co-developing programs, both targeting women entrepreneurs and investors. We are currently working on that. From those design and develop programs, we will test them and pilot them and validate them before we accelerate and scale them within a broader part of Europe. So this, thanks to this methodology, we anticipate already that we will achieve 4 main outcomes. So we want to transform those less connected territories into recognized and attractive European innovation valleys in line with the European Innovation Agenda. We aim to raise the number of gender-conscious investors in Europe to support women-led companies and ventures. We want to create bridges between and within the European innovation ecosystem. And finally, we want to boost female entrepreneurship in Europe, of course, with a focus on the less connected territories. But as we all know, and this is why we're all here today, the figures are not better when it comes to what we call the best connected innovation territories. So in the end, we really want to create this network to support women entrepreneurs throughout Europe and connecting and creating a strong network and of investors and different stakeholders. We don't do that alone. And from the preparation of the proposal, we've already been supported by organization. As you can see on the slide, we can categorize them from business acceleration providers to capital providers, also female founders, national and European networks and organizations, as well as innovation experts and banks. So this is very important in order to achieve our ambitious goal and to fulfill our expectations. So thanks a lot to all who are already supporting us, those who are coming on board at the moment, and the future ones.
Perfect. Thank you, Anne-Charlotte, for those this valuable presentation on the Herfront project. So I'll give the floor to our next speaker, Amparo San Jose, who will present the Women TechEU initiative and the second open call. Amparo, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. And I hope that we get many of you, women entrepreneurs, to get supported through this program, Women TechEU. So Women TechEU is a program by the European Innovation Council. That is one of the largest EU agencies, specifically in terms of available funding for startups of different stages. And this is one of the programs that is targeting the less advanced or the more early stage women-led startups. So it's a program that we are running for the next 2 years. It's open for the next 2 years to award the startups led by women from all EU countries and also associated countries within the Horizon Europe program. So the objective, as Charlotte mentioned, is to bring, is to bring more gender balance to the ecosystem. She mentioned the figures. I would also add some others, that only 16% of EU women-led, scale-ups in Europe are women-led. So this is the objective. And it's focusing on women in deep tech. There is an area where the number of startups is even lower. So next, please. So what do we aim with? So why is this a good opportunity? First of all, because you get 17,000 euros equity free per startup, which is a good amount of equity free money that you can get across Europe. And then you get a lot of services delivered by the consortium, by the members of the consortium. So then first is you get a female mentor that works with you through the journey of the program. Then you get quite exposure to investors across Europe, and of course support to close the deal, first to present correctly, to pitch correctly to them, and then to close the deal. You get a good number of training and support to develop your soft skills capabilities like negotiation, sales, leadership, communication, etc. Also something that is increasingly important because investors, they are looking more professionally at what is impact and what is not delivering impact. So we help you to pitch better and to measure better before pitching your environmental impact. You know that ESG investment is growing, and these investors are becoming more professional in defining what is impact and what is not impact. And of course, access to corporates. What we know that for those of you that are running a B2B company, access to corporates is essential, and it's not very straightforward. And even then, within the corporate, getting to the right person, that is the right contact, is even more difficult. So next, please. So we do this by putting together a good consortia, a good number of partners, some of them from the execution point of view, because when you're participating in an EU program, you want the less friction, and that's ensured by some partners such as Exploro that are well seasoned in running this project and getting you to helping you to get the money with the less burdensome procedures. Also, Ivan, that is well known, is the leader in accessing the early stage investment sector, angels and early stage VCs. So some good associations supporting startups like the one you have seen in her fund. There are many of them across Europe, so these are the ones that are here, but there are also very good ones. And a bit of the differential is that there is a number of EIT, like the one I'm representing, EIT KICS, that is the European Institute for Technology, that we are specialized in different sectors. Next, please. So we are very free, very generous in the way that we use the money. So next, please. So you give every startup 75,000 euros that you can use to grow your company. You don't get a lot of instructions in how to spend, how to use that, as long as it's meaningful for you. You might prefer to do to improve your business, plan, to get some assignments to consultants to validate your freedom to operate in different markets. You can improve your the skills of your sales team. Depends on what you need to do. We can support you on that. I mean, we give you the money, but the consortium again support you on selecting what does really appropriate for your company. Next, please. Next, please. Yes. So now I'm going to the more operational aspects of how to get in the next cohort. So next, please. Not to no, we missed one before that. The deadline. Yes, because we are it's 9th of September, so we have 21 days to get in the second cohort. It's 30 September is the deadline to apply, and it's very straightforward. You can go to the website, Women Tech Europe, and then for you to know, we will be selecting 40 winners in this cohort. Next, please. So everything is very easy as long as you are within the eligibility criteria, and this is something that maybe deserves a bit of an explanation. So what is a women-led company? I can go later on. It might seem very straightforward, but the definitions are many, and I will give you ours. Then a little bit that we are looking for deep tech startups, and also there is no common agreement. But in the next two ones, things are a lot clearer. So we support startups that have been created or are between 6 months old and 8 years old. And also you can be in any European Union or associated member states. Member states are, for instance, Ukraine, Turkey, or the UK, but there are many more. So you just can go to the regulations and then you check there. So next one, please. A bit of the calendar, not too much to spend. So if you apply now, you will get selected in the first week of December, last week of November, and then you start the program 1st of February to continue until the end, until the 1st of August. So that's why that's very important that you apply now, but you have some time to commit to the program later on. So next, please. Some clarifications here. So what we mean by women-led startup is a company where a woman is the co-founder or holds a top management position, such as this one, or where women hold at least 20% of the company in total. Next, please. The other criteria. Sorry. Next, please. Sorry. You may be an early stage startup. That means this is something that you see clearly here. Pre-market, of course, and also starting the first sales or the first testing, the first serious testing with the market. And in terms of your size, funding limited to 1 million euros. If you have been able to get more than 1 million euros, that you're free to go for yourself. There are other support programs. We don't need you we don't need to give you 75,000 euros of the EU budget, but you might find support in other programs such as the Hard Fund. Next, please. Another important issue, what is deep tech? Oh, sorry, the one up. Well, you can, yeah. You can, yes, what is deep tech? Deep tech, again, is very difficult to get to a common position. Just for you to know that we welcome any sector, no discretionality on this. Of course, that life sciences or green tech or biotechnology or even food tech are more prone to be working on deep technologies, but any sector is welcome. And next, please. So here you get to see a little bit more detail on what we think is a deep technology. And this is something we will be paying attention, especially to in the next cohort, because we get often applications that are not that deep tech. So I will not like to stop in any of these hard criteria. Maybe we can develop later. Basically, it needs to be something novel from the scientific point of view. It has to be around proprietary intellectual property. you might have to, we like to see that you are disruptive in a given market, but we also welcome niche startups. So that means that you don't have to tap into a huge population or a huge market. You're also welcome if you are working in smaller markets. Next, please. This is just, oh, we missed another one. Yeah, up two before this one. No, it's missed there. Strange, because I see here. Okay, then we go to next one. How to get in. Okay, how to apply. Next one, please. Oops, no, I think there are some misalignments between the presentation. Is this the one you have?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, how to apply. Okay, we see. One of the reasons that we see that there are many applications that fail or many applications that do not submit is because you are not prepared for it. It's very straightforward, but if you are like myself, that you prefer to do one in a go, and if you get off the desk and you go somewhere else, you never complete the application. That's me. So I'm sure that I'm not unique. So be prepared if you plan to apply. Just fill it up. It's not super complex. Have the CVs of your team. Have your investor pitch deck, and also have your video prepared. Next, please. Nothing very demanding here, but if you get selected, we need to make sure that you're eligible, and we get all your company details. So if you're not the company is not created, there is no time to lose, because eventually we will be checking all of this information to make sure that you fulfill all the criteria. Next, please. I think this is one of the most useful parts of the presentation. If any doubts you can go to the Women TechEU help desk. Just for you to know, we cannot help you in pre-validating or pre-evaluating the application form, or sorting out what kind of information you need to put in, or how you develop. You elaborate the content to present, but any other thing you can clear it out through the web. Next, please. Next one. Okay, so we are all people-centric in this world, despite the deep tech and the growth and the investment figures. This is a program that is much to the team, is targeting the team that is behind the company, because it's helping women to grow, or startups led by women. So just some of the tips. When you do the video, don't send us fancy videos with drones, with super nice voices in English native. It's okay. We don't need that. You just need to be authentic, convince us that why you want to grow the company, how powerful is the science that you have behind, how eager you are to grow your company, and avoid ChatGPT, because we have a lot of people that are from the humanities area and they can really spot it. So just another thing as a tip to apply. Next slide, please. Yes. This is a basic in all the programs, but with the EU funding is especially a red line. So the deadline is a deadline. If you have a problem with the technical or with the submission, just say it before the application closes. That's why I say don't leave it for the last time. And if you are prepared, you just need a very short time to do it. So next, please. And this is the end. So thank you very much. So I hope that that we can help you with your application process through the help desk, and I can encourage you to reach out and explore the website and see how Women TechEU is a good program for you to boost your startup growth. So this is everything from my side. Sorry I took a couple of minutes more, but I hope that is clear, and otherwise we have more time in the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Amparo, for this really nice presentation. We'll follow up with the last speaker. So last but not least, we're welcoming Cici, female founder and Women TechEU mentor. So Cici, the floor is yours. Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh no, okay. We had some other slides, but I don't know. Okay, sorry for that. Cici, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's very nice meeting all of you, and thanks a lot for the nice presentation of the Women TechEU program. So who am I? As said, I'm a social entrepreneur. I started my venture more than 3 years ago. It's called Foodie, and it's solving and trying to solve the food waste issue in Eastern Europe. Besides that, I'm a woman in tech. I hold a master's degree in IT for business management and a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering. I lead lectures at the Technical University of Sofia, and this autumn probably also signing up my PhD. So I'm as much an entrepreneur as I'm a person very interested in technology and in developing disruptive technologies. Especially besides that, yeah, I'm also one of the Bulgarian youth delegates to the United Nations, as the climate change topic is one very dear to my heart, as well as finally fulfilling the sustainability goals of the United Nations. So basically, both technology and the issues we currently have, and we are going to unfortunately have more and more with the climate change, for me are definitely connected in many ways. And I believe that we as women are definitely having our great part into solving these issues. Nevertheless, I'm also a foodie. I'm very interested, especially in the food tech and agri-tech. So I was even very interested in the Women TechEU program to apply as a startup. But yeah, our startup is more than an MVP stage right now. So we missed the chance probably a few years earlier when there wasn't the program. So I definitely think that everyone who is now in the stage of creating the MVP or a bit more than an idea, but not yet realized, is a perfect moment to join the program. So we can go to the next slide just to briefly present what I'm doing. So Foodie is the first web app in Bulgaria fighting the food waste issue in the food industry. So we partner with different restaurants, bakery shops, etc. And we sell food that's still quality food, but wasn't sold during regular hours. So they can provide it with a good discount. We want to shift the conversation about food waste from talking about, just wasted food and garbage or whatever, to actually culture and quality food, because there is a great opportunity for us to save the food before it has to become a waste. And for the past 3 years, we developed our B2C model. That's basically the web app where anyone in Bulgaria, hopefully soon in other countries in the Balkans, in Eastern Europe, will be able and is able to shop in this more sustainable way. We also developed a B2B business side. So we work with lots of big companies that are organizing their monthly breakfast or other events where they can actually use our more sustainable catering services and actually help them also with their impact and ESG goals, because actually 1 kilogram of food that's saved from wasting is equal to 2.5 kilograms of CO2 emissions that are not going into their environment. So anyone is directly having a positive impact by saving food. And yeah, for the past 3 years, we also received the European Social Innovation Competition Impact Prize. Last year, a few more prizes. So we see this recognition also on European level, not only now my country, Bulgaria, as something that really makes us believe this is the way to go. We can go to the next slide. So why I decided to embark on the journey as a woman in tech and as a social entrepreneur, I would say was just having a great corporate job a few years ago, and I was working in Japan, in Germany, and here in Bulgaria for a Swiss company. I also hold a Lean Six Sigma black belt, so I'm really into the technology side and into optimizing processes and so. And I could probably just go on like this and work in very big corporations all my life. But I did feel that I want to change the world. I want to have my positive impact. I want to see this positive impact right there. And I decided to quit all that and to start Foodie together with two more people, and that's probably the best decision I've ever taken in my life. And I know it's a very risky one, and it was already said that even applying for a program like Women in Tech EU is a risk, and definitely most of the things you do as an entrepreneur is a risk. But I think this one is definitely worth it, and especially we gained a lot of useful knowledge from all European accelerators and programs and competitions that we took part. So even applying and going through the process of applying to the program is already very useful for a founder to find where you stand, what you have achieved, what your objectives are, what your unique value proposition is. Even, you know, sitting and thinking with your team, okay, what's our UVP, is already a great exercise I believe everyone can do, and hopefully, of course, in the end you're accepted as a participant in a very useful program. So don't be afraid to lose this time, because it's not lost in any case, no matter if you're accepted or not. I believe it's time that is well spent, and finally will be rewarded. So maybe go to the next slide. So why women in tech? So I have very recently been selected as one of the mentors in the program. And so not yet have the experience to tell you what you have to expect or not expect or whatsoever. But I can say about my experience of why I applied as a mentor. It was more than a month ago. I think it was in the beginning of August when I applied as a mentor, and it was really because I believe we as female founders and female scientists should really support each other and share our knowledge, because that's one of the best ways to learn from one another. I had my best experience in a program in Spain, where I was with 10 other female founders from all over Europe for 1 month in San Sebastian. And I had the opportunity to learn directly from them, from their success, from their failures, from their doubts. And we together could really change each other, even more than, I don't know, some very professional coaches could help us. Of course, coaches are also very important. But what I mean is this program, you'll find probably people like me who had gone through this journey, who have a background that's is going, of course, to help you also with building hard skills, not only soft skills during the program. So there is a process of matching participants. So not all mentors then also get a mentee or so. So there is this process, but it's a process in the background that's not, I don't think, so important for this go anyway. But I believe that if you're really looking for mentorship and for peer-to-peer experience, it is a great place to get it. And I myself still have mentors from previous similar programs that I'm still in contact, and we still keep all this mentorship even after the program. And this may as well be such an experience, who knows. But I believe that even if maybe you find yourself and your startup more advanced than the program, then I guess for next goals you can as well try to be a mentor or an evaluator in the program. It really depends, but definitely, as it was said earlier, the criteria is quite concrete. So just follow it, and if you don't really follow under it, then maybe I think about something else in the future. But if you do, then I believe it's a great place to to learn. And I believe also for all mentors and evaluators and everyone else included in the program, it's also a great learning process. And yeah, and that's a bit from me. So if you are interested in maybe my experience more as a female founder, feel free to approach me. As I said, I can't really share anything else for the program right now, and I don't even think it's totally right to do right now. So basically, yeah, I'll be happy to help, just as Cici, the founder of Foodie, if you have any other questions. And yeah, thanks for your time, and I hope I gave you some useful tips.
Thank you very much, Cici, and a big for your presentation, and for explaining your journey as a female founder. Thank you to all our speakers today for sharing their project, their journey. And now we'll move on to the Q&A part of the webinar. And we have questions waiting for us in the Q&A section. So I'll just go through the first question. I'm a solo founder with a consultant working on my company. During the previous Women TechEU information call, I asked if being a solo founder with a team was acceptable, and the speakers confirmed that it was. However, when I applied and received feedback from the jurors, both mentioned that being a solo founder was a concern. So the person would like some clarification on whether it's acceptable to apply as a solo founder or not. And she would appreciate your guidance on this matter. So I'll leave the floor to you, Amparo, for that question. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So the answer is not straightforward. Yes, you can apply if you are a solo founder, as long and it depends how you elaborate your proposal, because maybe the evaluators found that the scope of the amount that you have to develop, the complexity of the issues, and some of the things make it difficult for a solo founder to face them. So in principle, there should be no problem. It depends how the company and the work that the company has to do is articulated, and whether you need other complementary profiles, or you can cover the scope of the work, as I said. So, but in principle, you can apply.
Great. Thank you, Amparo, for that answer. And we have a second question. So I'm going to read the question out loud. I'm a CEO of a startup, and my shares, along with some minor women shareholders, will make up to 18% of shares in the company. So this means I cannot apply at all, right? Thank you.
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, so yes, as Amparo mentioned, it's 25%. And this is a new element for the Women TechEU call. And then we had, I believe, another question about, is there going to be any more different information on this meeting than on the open call? So two things. So I think Women TechEU, if I'm not mistaken, is hosting a webinar tomorrow as well on the second open call. So if you need more information, you can gather it here. But also the HerFund project will organize 5 other webinars on different themes and as well as events. So just stay tuned, because a lot of more activities and events such as this one are going to take place in the upcoming month. And then we have a fourth question. So I'm just going to read it. You mentioned you would like us to provide 2-year of accounts balance sheets. I am a pre-seed. I have a basic MVP built within my current established business. This is showing great results and feedback. MRR of £7,000. However, I've only recently formed a different and brand new startup that will take ownership of these paying subscribers. The new company can prove traction and demand, but it's still at a very early stage. Am I still eligible and even encouraged to apply? So if I understand correctly, the person wants to ask if they're eligible for the second startup they're creating based on the subscription they got in the framework of their first company, if I'm not mistaken. Amparo, do you...
Yes, I'm listening, but I would say that the question is of whether with the second company that has already some recurrent revenue, monthly revenue of 7,000 euros per month, if you can apply with that company. Is that correct? You're taking the IP from the first company, but in this company you have some sales. It's not easy because I mean, we will need to understand what in terms of TRL you need to be between 3 and 6 because otherwise there are other programs. So it's not easy to assess here in terms of development, technology development, and which stage you are, and what does it mean that you have already sales. Maybe you have, I know that some companies that have some consulting sales, and while they're strongly developing the IP or the technical product. So that's why it's not super straightforward, the answer. I'm reading, I don't know if that's sorry, I don't want to mix. So maybe this is more a question to ask the help desk with more time and with more inputs, because from what you say, it's not a clear yes or a clear no. Thank you.
Thank you, Amparo. We have a next question. So I'll read the question out loud. I'm a biotech startup, but we have, but we don't have 6 months of incorporation. Will we have a future opportunity to participate in the next years? So
Yes.
I think, yeah, okay.
Sorry, yes, there will be 2 more calls in the next year.
So one call, so this one in 2024 and 2 more calls in 2025, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I believe, so I can't really see the Q&A. Do we have other questions for our speakers?
And I understand also that some people are struggling with putting questions in the Q&A. So as I wrote, don't hesitate to put it in the chat, and then we can just bounce them in the Q&A.
Yes. And also, I think that it was the second question you read, Ines, someone was asking for more webinars. So because there are many questions that are on a case by case, and we need to have this exchange of information to be able to answer, do not hesitate to go to the help desk and do it with enough time in advance. So don't wait for the 29th September to clarify your participation. Do it as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay. No more questions on this slide. Sorry. Okay, so we don't have any more questions.
Yes, there's one from Amy. What age stage does your company need to be at to apply? Is it at least 2 years old?
Yes, the maturity of the company, it has to be created at least 6 months ago, and not after 8 years. So 2 years is yes. Short answer is yes, you can apply.
Great, thank you, Amparo. Okay, so do we have any more questions? You can either put them in the chat or in the Q&A. Let me check.
That was very clear, Amparo, your presentation.
Yeah.
Well,
But
10
I think
minutes,
that
10 minutes is
yeah.
short, but yes, it's on a case by case. But I think that the message is that it's a strong program with strong services behind the money, which is interesting. So just explore it a little bit and enjoy it. I think that Cici explained very well what is the added value. So.
Yeah, and if you have some extra tips, because as we saw, like the first call, you had more than 800 applications, and you can only fund 40 projects. So maybe is there something that you would recommend to the founders to pay very much attention to? Or I know that the deep tech definition is always a big debate, right? I mean, what is deep tech, and how do I define the deep tech element on my startup? So if you have any last tips for the listeners.
Well, just that I think that for those that already sent the full, I mean, for those that completed the application, because there were many people that didn't complete it, I think that as everything, you need a bit of time and preparation. You need a good video where you can present yourself. You need to be very clear in explaining your technology. And I mean, what does it bring? What impacts it has? What is the novelty? No, because the deep tech part this year it will be, or this second call will be further scrutinized, and then you need to show your commitment. No. But I think that, of course, I'm already assuming that you really feel carefully every part, that we cannot just not grant you eligibility because you have missed some parts, so you didn't fill up the information. There are some basic mistakes that some people does, so you have to take care of the language. So English is the working language. So if you are tempted to copy paste from documents, so don't do it that it has a bit of English, a bit of Italian, a bit of Spanish, or a bit of French together, because that is not friendly for the evaluator, and you should write it in English as well as the video.
Thank you, Amparo. We have two more questions that arrived.
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead, Cici.
Yeah, it's just, in my personal opinion, if you have to think too much whether you're a deep tech company or not, or you probably aren't. So like, just follow the rules, read it through. Like, it's quite obvious whether and it's not a bad thing if you're not a deep tech startup. Like, we need lots of different kind of companies, but really, like, if you have to make yourself a deep tech, then you're probably not a deep tech. So just as it was said, there are many other programs as well. So this one is really more concrete in that sense. So maybe it doesn't sound so positive, but definitely it's true, unfortunately. So I gave this advice to a few other female founders I was mentoring before, and actually some of them did find that they're not a deep tech startup, but they found other ways to fund their startup. So it's not the end of the world, even if you're.
Thank you, Cici. Very interesting.
Maybe I can add something on the funding that Cici reminded me. On the 1 million euros, it has to, I mean, the limit is 1 million euros of equity. So if you get grants, if you're super high tech and you have been receiving grants, that doesn't count. But this, you will have everything in the regulations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the clarification. We have a few more questions that arrived. So the question from Rebecca, so what is the workload? How much time should be put to the side? I guess it's once you've get is it pre-award or post-award? I don't, maybe you could clarify, but Amparo, maybe you can respond on both. How much, what?
Yeah, okay. I think that on this, Cici has more credibility, because I will say that is fully assumable. So Cici, please. So you are a neutral, a credible agent on this. Or was it too heavy workload for you?
Well, as I mentioned, I just was selected as a mentor.
Okay.
So yeah, as long as I know, I think the workload's probably a few hours per week for sure. Like, I would say the more the better for you. For example, with other programs and mentoring, for example, you have a certain amount of hours that you have to spend mentoring, you have to spend on trainings and stuff. But then if you want to, you can just expand this to maybe even 15 hours a week if you'd like to. But I think it's definitely a reasonable amount of time that will not stop you from doing all you've been regularly doing as a founder. So I don't think this is something that should stop you from entering the program, definitely. But for sure, you also have to be dedicated, especially in this case, of course, receiving quite the amount of funding. So you definitely have to be an active member in the program and in the mentoring, because in the end, it's really for you. It's not for the organizers of the program or for me or for anyone else. It's really for you and your own company's success that you want to put as much time as you can into a program such like this. So I would definitely not think about the time that it's too much. I would think about it as how much I can take from all that's going to happen in these nearly 6 months.
And
Thank
if I can bounce on the question, because it can also be for the preparation of the proposal. I mean, it's not so complicated per se to answer the question, because it's very much related to your company, the purpose of the company, the deep tech element. So it's like you need to spend time explaining clearly what you're aiming to achieve, the impact. So there's a lot of information that you already have available, but of course you need to tailor it in a way that answers the expected expectations of the call. So how do you present your technologies? So for instance, like on the deep tech element, how deep tech it is. Amparo mentioned the impact. How do you foresee the impact of your technology on the market and beyond? Because again, bear in mind, it's an EU call. So you have to have an impact also at European level, answering European expectations and so on. So it's more like telling the story of your project that you already know, all the technical elements, you have that at hand, but more like building the story around it to match with the evaluator's expectation in the context of an EU call.
And thank you, Anne-Charlotte. And maybe to complete the question, Amparo, can you just, because the person also wanted to know, in terms of post-award, are there any milestones set for the candidate that was accepted in terms of reporting of activities? I think that was more the question of the post-award. Once you get the grants, what is the workload and how much time should be put aside? If you can answer that question.
You mean beyond the time you dedicate to the program, and specifically how heavy is the reporting on the bureaucratic side? That's very minimal.
Okay. I hope, Rebecca, we answered the question fully. So next question was from Luis. When will the results of the first open call will be published? So sorry, yeah. When?
Yeah, this is expected, I think it's 29th November. So the first week of December, I would say, I mean, if there are no delays, it's 29th November.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question. So we are started with only women working in it, from the founder to the web designer. We have created our company less than a year and looking for subvention to develop it. Can we participate to her fund venture? And Charlotte, I'll let you answer this question.
Yes, you're very welcome to follow us, and we can put again in the chat the link to follow the project. We're going to have a lot of information coming up in the coming weeks and months. As Ines mentioned, we have more webinars to come. As I presented, we are currently developing some programs, both targeting investors and founders. So that will also be implemented in the coming months. And in probably February, March 25, we will launch our digital platform. So you're always welcome to follow us. If you have any specific needs or any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Anne-Charlotte. And then we have a last question. I have heard many questions related to the 1 million euro equity, with proposal being rejected on this point, although they had not raised 1 million euros. How is this calculated?
Well, actually, we need to there are two phases when we pay attention to this. First is what you put in the questionnaire. I think that the information has been expanded a little bit, and then through the eligibility process. So it's 1 million euros equity. So that is the equity that is reflected in your cap table. So as I said, there are some things that we take into consideration that are not equity. That is the grants that you have received, any notes that are where the cash has not been received by the company. I think I would say what is equity is pretty standard. Maybe you have some, if you can give us more information on what is that, maybe we can help you, no? But convertible loans, for instance, what I mentioned, are considered equity if the money is available. the money from public organization. If it's grant, it's not funds raised. If it's equity and they are in the cap table, even money from public institutions in the cap table is considered equity, of course. If it comes from business angels overseas, and is cash that the company has received, is okay as well. And for instance, with equity, so if you have mentors that have quantified their participation and therefore they are in the cap table, they are not considered part of this 1 million. But I don't know exactly what they tell you. If you have any doubts, you can always go back for the to clarify these questions or remarks that you got from the evaluators.
Thank you very much. It's 11:58. We have no more questions, so I'd like to thank you all for the questions, and a big thanks to our speakers for their time and expertise today. Let me conclude by saying that over the course of this 2-year project, the HerFund project, will be organizing, as I said, more webinars like this one. So stay tuned, as there's plenty more to come. If you have any questions about Women TechEU, like Amparo said, there is the help desk as well, which is a great resource for if you have any questions. The webinar, as I mentioned, was recorded, so the slides and the webinar will be available soon on our YouTube channel or the project website. So don't forget to follow us on social media. Sorry, there are a lot of QR codes, but you have also here the name of the accounts. So the website, the LinkedIn, the X account, and the YouTube channel as well. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at our future sessions. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Inés. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.